In this video, we're going to be going over a Vex leveling guide to take you all the way from level 1 up to level 50. This is going to be probably the easiest way of doing Vex. Obviously, you can play her in any way you want, but this is personally what I did to level up. I thought it was very quick. I was able to just passively kill things as I'm running by because we are going to be using the Spectres out of the Blue Tree action skill and utilizing those. They deal a lot of damage, and early on, you can struggle with like some cooldown stuff in the first couple levels, but once you get some cooldown going and some extra charges of them later on in the tree, you can just be spamming them quite often and they will clear everything for you. It's insane how strong they are. And you can use this, like I said, all the way up until level 50. Then you can use that to transition into another build. Like for me, once I reached level 50, I swapped into a sniper build. So I'll have that in a couple days for you guys if you want to see like the full end game build. But for right now, this is just going to be the leveling version. I'm going to have a leveling guide for all the characters. So if you end up playing somebody else or you just want to check them out, make sure you go see those. And otherwise, like I said in our like which Vault Hunter video, I'm going to be saying it at the start of all these videos. But if you guys want to help me hit 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year, that would be amazing. Literally a dream come true. So if you want to help me out, hit that subscribe button, completely free. Let's start things off looking at Vex's Blue Tree first. Now, there's definitely some options you can have as you're leveling depending on exactly what you want. But some main things to focus on in the first tier, I'd put your first 3 points into idle hands so you can get reload speed. Just because a lot of like the really good weapons, like for me, I personally love Jacob's shotguns, especially the ones that are like the one-shot variety. So I'm constantly reloading, so it really helps to have that 30% reload speed. And then you pair that with Fiends, and you restore some of that health, and you can stay topped off. You're popping your rep kits all the time too, staying and getting that full bonus. Then from here, you can either max out Sanguine Friends, or you can max out Cold Iron to move that down if you want you and your minions to do more gun damage. Completely up to you if you want damage or you want to stay a little bit more healthy. It depends on like the time that you're having in the game. If things are a little difficult, maybe you can do the Restore Health. Otherwise, if you just want to melt everything, go into Cold Iron. And your first augment that you're going to be equipping is Gas Blaster. This is great. So Spectres, they gain the ability to use Gas Blast, dealing gun damage to all nearby enemies on impact. They're going to use it on their spawn and after every time they reload. And this ends up dealing quite a bit of damage. So this thing is very, very good. And it's going to help you deal a lot more burst damage when you first summon out your minions and throughout the fight. From here, we can get Blood Sacrifice. So you're going to get your kill skills whenever a minion dies. So at the end of a fight, you can use that to get either just more damage here from Grave Fiends. So we can get 4 points into there if you want more damage. Otherwise, if you want more uptime on your Spectres, you can put those 4 points into Grave Quickening. It's completely up to you which of these you put those points into. You can split like 2 and 2 if you want. Do whatever you want with those 4 points just to move down. It just depends if you want more uptime or more burst damage out of your minions. From here, we're going to be going down into the right subtree. This is going to allow us to get prismatic weaponry here. So you're going to deal, you and your minions are going to deal bonus damage with gun critical hits. So an ordnance that we're going to be looking for with this build as you guys are playing, it's going to allow you to guarantee critical hits so you can get that bonus damage all the time and your Spectres don't even need to like actually hit a crit there or get any sort of crit chance. They're just going to do it and get that bonus damage. Bonus damage is very powerful in this game, so make sure you guys are aiming for your crits while you have the Spect. This is also, by the way, when we get to this tier, going to unlock Wither. So this is something we're going to equip later once we get to our Capstone. So as we get towards the Capstone, we're going to get Ancient Rites to move down. It's going to give us minion damage. It's going to stack up over time. This can go up very quickly once you have all 3 minions out. Then we're going to get an extra charge of Dead Ringer just so we can have a little bit more like freedom with placing them. And like I said, Dark Pact here is fantastic because it gives us 2 augments, which is very powerful. So when you combine Gas Blaster and Wither, that's a ton of extra damage, and the enemies are going to be debuffed, taking 30% more damage, which is very strong. And as you guys are getting kills, so if you're using it for mobbing, it's going to allow them to use Wither again. So there's a lot of different ways these two can play together depending on if you're bossing or mobbing. But then also Dark Pact is going to allow you to use like a hold your action skill button to do an extra action. And this is going to fully restore the health of all your face clones. So you're going to want to hold it onto this as your clones are getting lower and lower in health. So if you place all 3 out very quickly, just keep an eye on their health as they get down to like a quarter or less. pop this, it's gonna go right back up, and it's gonna give them attack speed multiplier as well. So they're gonna help deal a lot more damage. So overall, Dark Pact is a fantastic capstone to go into early. Now, once I finish Blue Tree, I like to focus a little bit into actually boosting Vex herself, just because these nodes in the green tree are so powerful. Like Bloodletter is easily the strongest skill in the game right now. You could quite literally, if you have the right ordnance, do up to infinite damage if you give it enough time. It's insane how powerful this is when you pair it with the right things. That infinite damage part will definitely get fixed in the future for sure. But either way, Bloodletter is an extremely, extremely strong skill. And then to get there, we can get some lifesteal. So if we do Leeching Attunement, so just make sure you guys are holding kinetic weapon. It's usually what I hold all the time anyways, using like Jacob shotguns. You're going to get reload speed and lifesteal, which is really, really nice. It pairs perfect with those Jacob shotguns. And then, like I said, Bloodletter is just super strong. Is you're getting gun and skill critical hits. They're going to apply bleed, which is really nice. This is going to pair into your minions. So, like, this is focusing on us, but it's also going to be helping out our minions, which is really nice, especially once you get that knife to make things guaranteed critical hits. It's going to help out your minions stack that bleed as well. And then we're going to get ourselves some more kinetic damage and kinetic status damage just to boost Bloodletter even further. Now from here, with our final 8 points, they're going to be going into our red tree. From here, we can get Blood as Magic and give our minions a little bit more damage while we're at full health. We have the lifesteal now, so we can keep that at full health and get that free 35%. And then with our final 3 points, just put them into Hasty Fiends here for a little bit more movement speed. But you can move these wherever you want. The damage reduction for the Spectres is pretty nice. Also, I realized I accidentally had it, the last 3 points, in the wrong skill from testing something earlier. But yeah, Hasty Fiends is going to be where you want to put your last 3 points, but feel free to move it around wherever you see fit. Now, quickly taking a look at the gear for this setup. Like I said, shotguns, Jacob shotguns, are my favorite thing to be using in this game. Also, they come with easily the best underbarrel in the entire game, Spread Launcher. This isn't guaranteed, but just keep an eye out for this attachment. It can roll on these weapons. And as you can see here at level 50, it does 25,000 times 5 of explosive grenades that shoot out underneath it. Obviously, there's a cooldown on it, and you just get one shot from it. But still, like, you can just straight up one-shot bosses. You can inflict huge bleeds with this as well. So say you hit crits with all those are going to have a chance of stacking up your Bloodletter and just deal ridiculous bleeds. So overall, Jacob shotguns are so powerful at this point in the game at launch. If you guys happen to find a Rainbow Vomit, this is another Jacob shotgun, but it shoots some elements related, like projectiles, kind of in a little lob. It's very good. You can also get Spread Launcher on this. You don't need Spread Launcher, but it is an option. Another set of, like, non-legendary weapons that are really good with an underbarrel are the Beam Tossers. You can get this in any elements. They're just Malawan shotguns that roll these. And this is really good for big bosses because it essentially bores through the enemy and ticks a million times. So if you can't find Spread Launchers, keep an eye out for Beam Tossers. They're very good, and you can get them in whatever element you want. The Stray Sniper is very, very good as well. You can get this thing in kinetic with like a Jacob's part on it, for example. This is going to be really good, and you can farm this actually fairly early in the desert biome. So if you go that way to start your game, you can get that fairly early on. But yeah, those are just like some basic weapons to look out for. With your rep kits, one thing you're really going to want is an amp on an order rep kit. This is going to give you 2 charges, and that amp is just insane. Like 200% extra damage on your next shot out of there is crazy. Every time you go down, it's going to give you a rep kit charge back. So, I mean, you can just do this all the time. And when you pair that with that Spread Launcher, you're just going to one-shot anything you look at. If your spread shot's on level, you're going to one-shot it. It's crazy how strong that is. For the secondary effect, you can look for like splash damage or something, or really whatever you want, movement speed, if you're going for a purple. But the main thing, you can like look for it on blues. It's just amp with the order manufacturer, so you get the 2 charge. That's just the main thing to look for there. For our ordinances, you're really going to want a throwing knife. So here is where you can get those critical hits I was talking about earlier. So 1, it's just going to by default have the damage amp payload on it if you get the crit augment, because the augment is an augment to the damage amp payload. So they'll always be paired together. So just keep an eye out for this type of knife. There's different augments for the damage amp payload. So if you get those, they're really good. If you just don't find the damage amp payloads. Singularity throwing knives are really good because it just keeps the enemies from shooting you. And there's times in the story where like you're fighting enemies and they're gonna be pretty high level. Like there's some really big jumps here and there. So having those singularities, keeping them out of the fight, is very helpful while your minions shoot them. But yeah, the penetrator augment on the throwing knives is just so ridiculously strong. It's not even funny. I will, like I said, have a whole video on Bloodletter and this throwing knife and how you can deal infinite damage. It's ridiculous. So keep an eye out for this. If you find it at level 1 by chance, keep it until level 50 and you get a new. Just keep the level 1 for your whole existence, because if you start a new character, you're gonna want to give them that knife. So just hold on to this thing if you ever find it. It's fairly rare, but it's so worth the find. It's very, very good. For class mods, obviously if you happen to find a legendary, you can do those. But some big ones would be like the Scion class mod. This is going to allow you to get like Bloodletter very early on before we actually spec into it. So that's personally what I would recommend going into. You can boost your kinetic damage and you can get Bloodletter on it. So some really good things. You can find like gun crit chances and passives, just damage dealt. So overall, I think Scion is going to be like one of your best bets. Otherwise, you can focus something into like the Blue Tree. The Alchemist can be more status effect related stuff. But personally, I think Scion is your best bet. For shields, you can find basically whatever you want. I like to do like Vagabond. Like this was my ideal shield while leveling just because I got to move so quick. So either when it was empty or full, I got big movement speed bonuses, and it just made this leveling process feel so much better. So personally, that's what I would look for. You can get like the Fireworks shield early on from Splash Zone. He's like the tutorial boss. There's a lot of really good things that you can find early on. This you're not going to get till later, and that's going to be for the sniper build, so don't worry about that one. Enhancements, I would just go with something Jacobs related. You can do the like consecutive crits. You can do the chance to crit, so that's just 20% flat crit chance. That's very helpful. There's a lot of really good things. Just look for whatever is the best you can find. I wouldn't be super picky early on, but yeah, I would definitely try to pick Jacobs if you're using like those shotguns, spread launchers, things like that early on. These are going to be your best bet. Yeah, out of all the characters that I've leveled, Vex was definitely one of the smoothest that I have had so far in this game. She just does everything so well. She's very, very powerful. It actually really surprised me. I was scared she's going to be weak when I was looking at like the skill trees before the game ever even came out, and I got a chance to play them. I was getting concerned, like some of like Amon and Harlow's stuff like looked crazy. Even like Rafa's numbers looked insane. And then Vex seems pretty like toned down compared to them, but it couldn't be farther from the truth in the full game. Like Vex is seriously the real deal in terms of power. So if you guys are looking for something a lot of fun with a lot of versatility, whether you want to play minions, status effects, sniper stuff, like there's so much you can do with the Vex. Highly recommend giving this a go, getting to level 50 and then swapping into whatever build you want to fully do. Like I said, I swapped into a full sniper build at level 50, so I'll be posting that in a couple days once some more people get through the story and all that. But yeah, then we'll share some endgame stuff and start having a lot of fun and getting back into our full swing of Borderlands 4. But yeah, this is going to be one of, 4 leveling guides, depending on which character you're playing. So if you guys are checking out any other characters, check out those leveling guides. Help me get to 100,000 subscribers. That'd be super, super helpful. Otherwise, I'm going to be streaming basically the whole time this game is out. So if you guys are watching this video, I'm most likely going to be live. So come on over to Twitch, and hopefully I'll see you over there. Happy to answer any questions you have. But yeah, thank you for watching this far in the video. I really do appreciate it. Catch you all in the next one. See ya.